Every battle you fight in life begins here, in the unseen corridors of your own mind. You wake up already under attack. Thoughts rush in, uninvited. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if everything goes wrong? Negative thinking. It's not just noise. It's a prison, a parasite that feeds on your energy, on your focus, on your very soul. Most people don't even realize they're chained inside this invisible cage. They fight battles outside, but lose the war within. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they all faced chaos, betrayal, war, and death. Yet they remained unshakable. Why? Because they mastered one thing: the art of ruling the mind. They didn't let negative thoughts dictate their lives. They used brutal laws, timeless principles to cut through the noise, to rewire their thoughts, to turn suffering into strength. And now, it's your turn. Because the truth is simple. If you can't control your thoughts will control you. And once that happens, you're not living. You're enslaved. In this journey, you will discover the 7 brutal Stoic laws that will kill your negative thinking and reprogram your mind for clarity, strength, and unshakable peace. But beware, these are not soft truths. They are sharp, they are ruthless, and they will strip away your illusions. They are not here to comfort you. They are here to free you. Let us begin with the first law, the foundation of all Stoic power. Law 1. You are not your thoughts. Because until you learn this, every lie your mind whispers will feel like the truth, and you'll keep living a life that doesn't belong to you. Here's the greatest illusion that destroys millions of lives every single day. People believe they are their thoughts. They hear a negative voice in their head and assume it's reality. I'm weak. I'll never succeed. I'm not good enough. But the Stoics knew the secret. A thought is not truth. A thought is just a shadow passing through the mind. Nothing more, nothing less. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that carefully. It means the storms outside aren't your real problem. The real storm is inside, the thoughts you keep believing. Imagine this. A cloud drifts across the sky. Does the sky panic? Number. It simply lets the cloud pass. Your mind is the sky. Your thoughts are the clouds. The problem is, most people think they are the cloud. They get lost in every storm. They forget their own vastness. The first brutal Stoic law demands you step back and realize you are the observer, not the thought. The witness, not the noise. The sky, not the cloud. Once you understand this separation, something shifts. The thought, "I'm not enough," loses its grip, because now you see it for what it is, a passing shadow, not your identity. This is where freedom begins. The cage door opens, because the bars of that prison were never real. They were just thoughts you believed. Repeat this to yourself. I am not my thoughts. I am the one who sees them. Hold that truth, and you'll never again be enslaved by the lies inside your head. Next, we move to the second Stoic law, a law so raw and direct it will strip away one of the biggest illusions that fuels negative thinking: the belief that life owes you something. Are you ready to face it? Here's one of the most brutal truths the Stoics taught. Life does not owe you happiness. It does not owe you comfort. It does not owe you fairness. Yet most negative thinking comes from this single illusion, the idea that life should be easier than it is. You say to yourself, "This shouldn't have happened to me. It's not fair. I deserved better." And with every complaint, your mind builds a cage, because reality does not bend to wishes. It only bends to strength. Epictetus, who was born a slave and endured unthinkable suffering, once said, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. This is not coldness. This is liberation. The moment you stop demanding that life be easy, you stop fighting against what is. And when you stop fighting reality, you stop feeding the fire of negative thinking. Think of it like this. A sailor does not argue with the storm. He adjusts his sails, commands his ship, and rides the waves. The storm never apologizes. The sea owes him nothing, yet with wisdom, he conquers it. So it is with your life. The more you cling to expectations of fairness, the more bitterness poisons your mind. But the moment you release the demand, you become untouchable, because nothing can truly disappoint you when nothing is owed. Every good moment becomes a gift. Every trial becomes a teacher. Every challenge becomes fuel. This is the second brutal Stoic law. Stop expecting life to serve you. Instead, learn to serve life. Hold this truth close, because the next law cuts even deeper. It's the law that forces you to confront the one thing your mind fears most, the reality of death. Are you ready to face it? There is one truth that most people run from their entire lives: death. They push it aside. They bury it under distractions. They live as if tomorrow is guaranteed, and in doing so, they waste today. But the Stoics, they faced death every single day, not to become morbid, but to become alive. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Imagine waking up with those words etched into your mind. Would you waste your morning scrolling through endless noise? Would you waste your energy on petty arguments? Would you waste your life chasing validation from people who don't even value themselves? You would live fully, directly, urgently. Negative thinking feeds on illusion, the illusion that we have endless time, that someday we'll start living, that someday we'll heal, that someday we'll change, but someday never comes. All you truly have is now. The Stoics turned the thought of death into fuel. They called it Memento Mori. Remember that you must die, not to terrify the soul, but to awaken it. Because when you remember death, every moment becomes sacred, every breath becomes a miracle, and the grip of negative thoughts begins to shatter. Ask yourself this: if today was my last day, would I still care about the opinions that chain me? If this was my final sunrise, would I waste it drowning in worry? Death makes you fierce. Death makes you free. And paradoxically, death makes you truly alive. This is the third brutal Stoic law. Do not run from death. Walk beside it. Let it sharpen you. Because only those who accept death can master life. Now, prepare yourself for the next law. It is one that will demand you take complete responsibility for everything you feel and everything you do. A law that crushes victimhood and awakens true strength. Are you ready for it? Look closely at the mind when it suffers. You will always hear the same whispers. It's not my fault. They did this to me. Life is against me. And with every whisper, you hand over your power. You become a prisoner of blame, a victim of circumstances. But the Stoics rejected this poison completely. They believed in a brutal law. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you control how you respond. And that response is your true power. Epictetus, once a slave, understood this better than anyone. He was beaten, humiliated, and stripped of freedom. Yet he declared, "They may enslave my body, but my mind is free." This is radical responsibility. It is the end of excuses. It is the death of victimhood. Negative thinking thrives when you believe the world controls your emotions. But the moment you accept full responsibility for your reactions, for your mindset, for your inner state, the chains break. It doesn't matter what they did. It doesn't matter what you lost. It doesn't matter how unfair it was. You are still in charge of your response. Think of fire. Throw wood into it, it burns. Throw gold into it, it shines. Throw suffering into a strong mind, it transforms. This is the essence of Stoicism, turning obstacles into fuel, turning pain into wisdom, turning wounds into weapons. When you stop blaming, you stop bleeding energy, and what replaces it is strength, clarity, and an unshakable calm. This is the fourth brutal Stoic law. Take radical responsibility, not because it's easy, but because the alternative is slavery. Now prepare for the fifth law, one that will shatter one of the greatest lies of the mind, the lie that emotions are enemies. Are you ready to face the truth about your feelings? Most people live at the mercy of their emotions. A single insult can ruin their entire day. A moment of fear can freeze their entire future. A wave of sadness can convince them life is meaningless. But here is the brutal truth. Emotions are not your enemies. They are signals, messages from the mind and body. The Stoics did not tell you to kill your emotions. They told you to master them, to see them clearly, to use them as teachers, not rulers. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Life is long if you know how to use it." Wasted time comes not just from distraction, but from being tossed around by uncontrolled emotions. Picture this. Anger arrives. Most people become the anger. They scream, they react, they regret. But the Stoic sees anger as a visitor. They step back, they breathe, they ask, "What is this anger teaching me? Where is it pointing?" The same with fear, the same with sorrow, the same with desire. When you stop being consumed by emotion and start observing it, your power returns. This is not suppression. Suppression buries emotions alive, and they return stronger. Mastery is awareness. Mastery is discipline. Mastery is refusing to hand the wheel of your life to temporary feelings. The fifth Stoic law is simple but brutal. Feel everything, but be ruled by nothing. When you can sit in fire without burning, when you can hold sadness without drowning, when you can carry anger without exploding, you are untouchable. And once you master this, you are ready for the sixth law, the law that will break your obsession with control and free you from endless anxiety. Are you ready to release what was never yours to hold? At the root of almost every negative thought lies this illusion: if I just control everything around me, I'll finally have peace. So we try. We try to control people. We try to control outcomes. We try to control the future itself. And with every attempt, anxiety grows heavier. Because the truth is simple: the outer world is never fully yours. The Stoics divided life into two categories: what is within your control and what is not. Epictetus said it plainly: some things are up to us and some are not. Up to us, our choices, our actions, our mindset. Not up to us, other people, random events, the flow of fate. Yet most of humanity wastes their lives obsessing over the second category, trying to bend the uncontrollable. And every failure feeds anger, fear, and despair. But when you flip this, when you release the outer and master the inner, you become free. Think of a storm at sea. The sailor cannot calm the waves, he cannot stop the wind, but he can steer his ship. He can set his sails, he can command his response. This is all that matters. The moment you stop trying to dominate the uncontrollable, the storm loses its teeth. Anxiety begins to dissolve because you no longer demand the world to obey you. You only demand discipline from yourself. The sixth Stoic law is brutal but liberating. Control the controllable, release the rest. Do this and you will feel a weight lift from your soul. Do this and negative thinking has no soil to grow in. And now we arrive at the final law, the law that ties all others together, the law that transforms Stoicism from philosophy into power, from words into action. Are you ready for the last truth? The greatest trap of the mind is not failure. It is hesitation, overthinking, living inside loops of what if and maybe someday. Negative thinking thrives in stillness without purpose. It grows in the cracks between thought and action, and it convinces you to wait for the perfect moment that never comes. But the Stoics destroyed this illusion. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Action, not endless thought. This is the final law, because without action, the other six mean nothing. What use is knowing you're not your thoughts if you don't step forward anyway? What use is accepting death if you still live like you have forever? What use is mastering emotions if you never act on your clarity? The Stoic path is not just to think differently, it is to live differently. Take the step. Write the words. Face the fear. Make the move. Every moment you hesitate, negative thinking tightens its grip. Every moment you act, it weakens. The seventh and final brutal Stoic law is this: stop waiting, stop doubting, stop circling. Do. Because the power you seek is not in the future, it is in the action you take now. And so, the 7 laws stand before you. 1. You are not your thoughts. 2. Life owes you nothing. 3. Remember, you will die. 4. Take radical responsibility. 5. Master your emotions. 6. Control the inner, release the outer. 7. Take action. Each is sharp, each is ruthless, each is freedom. Hold them, live them, breathe them, and the prison of negative thinking will crumble before your eyes. You are no longer a victim of the mind, you are its master.